The unmistakable sounds there of the Galician pipes, a sound that will almost certainly greet you as you enter the Plaza de Obradorio, the large square outside the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. I'm Gary Swift. Hello and welcome to Bite Size Camino, the podcast for information and tips for the older pilgrim on any of the many caminos to Santiago de Compostela.
In today's episode, I'll be discussing what goes in my pack. In previous episodes, we've already talked about the choice of packs, footwear, and waterproofs. Today, we'll be covering the other things that are on my packing list. Firstly, I'll cover the items that everyone should consider carrying with them, even those who have in their main pack or luggage transported between accommodations. Waterproofs are a given. Heavy rain can strike at any time, so your waterproof should be within easy reach. Everyone will need to carry water, but water is quite heavy. A 500 ml bottle of water will weigh approximately half a kilogram, so the weight of it can quickly increase the weight of your pack. Luckily, there's no need to carry gallons of water. Most stages of the Camino will provide ample opportunities to refill your water containers. I found that 1 litre of water is sufficient to carry at any time. One of my companions carries about 3 litres, but this is 3 kilograms of additional weight, and I think that's excessive. As with most of Europe, the drinking water is quite safe to drink, so you will have no need for filters or purifying chemicals. You'll pass cafes and bars who will provide you with tap water for your containers, usually free of charge. But why not reciprocate their generosity by buying a coffee or a snack from them? You'll also find drinking water fountains provided in many places along the Camino. Again, these are perfectly safe to use. Any that are not safe to drink from will be clearly marked. You'll need something to carry your water, and many people choose to use a refillable water bladder, which goes inside their pack with a drinking tube passing over their shoulder with a bite valve to drink from. This system has the advantage that the water is located close to your body inside the backpack, which makes carrying the additional weight quite easy. Also, you can drink easily and frequently via the tube as you walk. I've used this system, and whilst it does have some advantages, I found that these are outweighed by the disadvantages. Firstly, they can leak, which will wet everything in your pack and soak you through. They can be difficult to clean thoroughly, which is needed to ensure that your drinking water is safe. However, the biggest drawback for me is the difficulty in gauging how much water you have left. Also, refilling entails removing the bladder from your pack. They can be awkward to refill from some taps, and then to replace back into your pack without removing all the contents of the pack. My preference is to carry my water in two 500 ml bottles. One goes in the side pocket of my pack, the other goes into the dedicated pocket on my bum bag, which I actually wear on my side, giving easy access to the water bottle as I walk, and also easy access to the other valuables in the bum bag, which is always within my view and not hidden round my back with easy access for thieves and pickpockets. A quick internet search will reveal lots of purpose-made drinking bottles of various sizes, weights and designs. Any of these will do the job, so it's down to personal choice. My own preferred option, which is very cheap, very effective, and easy to replace, is to buy a couple of bottles of drinking water, which are available at most shops and filling stations and cafes, etc. I buy the ones with flip up sports tops for ease of use one handed whilst walking. They're clear, so the amount of remaining water can clearly be seen. They're easily cleaned and refillable, and if they get damaged, they're easily replaced. They have the advantage that they are also generally much lighter than purpose-built drinking bottles. I don't usually recommend specific makes, but I find that the smart water bottles are particularly durable and excellent for the task, as well as being available almost everywhere. Although the water is perfectly drinkable, the taste can be variable. To counter this, I add flavoured soluble isotonic tablets or powders to my drinking bottles, which improves the taste when necessary, but also helps to replace the salts and minerals that are lost through sweating due to the heat and exertion of the pilgrimage. The next item can be a bit of a Marmite item, i.e., you either love them or hate them. These are walking poles or hiking poles. Personally, I've used them on all my Caminos and frequently use them when hiking in the UK. Used correctly, they can take a lot of pressure off your knees and joints when both ascending and descending steep slopes. They can help you maintain an effective walking rhythm, which in turn helps you to cover the miles more efficiently. I've heard people say that they are useless and a hindrance, which they can be if not used correctly. I've lost count of the number of people I've seen with walking poles who are gaining none of the benefits because they're either not set up properly or they're being used incorrectly. There are numerous videos on YouTube detailing how to set up and use poles efficiently. Basically, to set the height or length of the pole, adjust the pole so that your forearm is parallel to the ground. This can easily be adjusted to slightly shorter for going up steep hills or slightly longer for going down steep hills. The straps don't go around your wrist, which is how many inexperienced people use them. Your hand should go through the strap, and the strap wraps around your hand as you hold the handle with a relatively light grip. Your weight is held by the strap, not by the handles. When on the level or going uphill, the tips of the poles will usually be behind you, propelling you forward, not out to the front or out to the side. And when descending, your hand comes out of the straps to prevent a broken wrist if you slip. You then grip the top of the handle and the longer poles go out in front of you to help you maintain your balance and to take the pressure off your knees. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. A few minutes watching the videos will give you the idea. But if you are taking poles, then please practice with them before you go. With a little practice, they can be very effective and your knees will definitely thank you. Remember that to be used correctly, you do need two poles, not one. It's not a walking stick. The poles usually come with a few simple accessories. Some have small baskets that attach close to the end to help prevent the poles sinking into soft mud or snow. These can be useful but aren't essential. The next accessory, though, is essential. The poles will have tungsten carbide tips for grip on the rough tracks and paths. However, when on hard or cobble roads and paths, the tungsten tips really aren't needed, and they make a loud clacking sound as they hit the ground. This can be annoying for anyone walking in your vicinity, but it is especially annoying for the people living along your route. They really object to the loud clacking, especially early in the morning when they may still be trying to sleep. The poles will come with rubber tips that fit over the tungsten points. Please use them to help preserve not only the peace, but also the goodwill of the local residents. Always carry spare rubber tips in your pack because they are very easy to lose. Don't be that annoying pilgrim, clacking his way all the way to Santiago. I also add a couple of extra items to the poles myself. Firstly, I wrap a few strips of reflective tape around the poles. The movement of the poles with the reflective strips makes them highly visible to drivers in poor lighting conditions, from either early starts or late finishes when there's little daylight, or when it's raining or foggy and you are on one of the stretches alongside the road. I also add a few strips of gaffer tape or duct tape around the poles. This can be really useful for making running repairs to damaged kit and is a convenient place to carry it. Although some hiking poles are one single piece, which can be inconvenient, they are generally collapsible for ease of transportation, either telescoping or folding to reduce the length. Both systems work. Unfortunately, although they are designed to be easily transported, with the increase in airport security, many airlines no longer allow hiking poles to be carried into the aircraft cabin. You'll either have to check them as a whole luggage or purchase them once you arrive in Europe, close to the departure point. After completing their Camino, many pilgrims leave their poles at the airport prior to departing, leaving them for anyone to take for free who may need them. If you are lucky, you may find a good pair that you can take to use on your Camino, but don't rely on it. There are stores in most of the large towns and cities, such as Decathlon, so you should be able to purchase a pair of poles locally without breaking the bank. Everyone should carry a small first aid kit. It's up to you what you put in the kit. It doesn't have to be very large, and you'll be able to put a very simple one together very easily. I don't purchase a ready-made kit because these tend to be bulkier and heavier than homemade kits and may contain items that you don't need. My first aid kit holder is a simple Ziploc freezer bag, which even when loaded packs down really small and doesn't take up much room in the top pocket of my pack, where it's easily accessible. Inside this bag, my personal kit consists of a couple of plasters, a very small bandage, a small travel tube of antiseptic cream, a small bottle of hand gel, a small tube of sun cream and lip balm, a strip of paracetamol painkillers, a strip of ibuprofen anti-inflammatory tablets, a couple of Imodium capsules for diarrhea, a small roll of surgical tape, a couple of medium or large comfy blister plasters, a very small plastic bottle containing betadine iodine solution, and needle and thread for dealing with blisters, as discussed in the episode about foot care. I also carry half a dozen safety pins. These could be used for first aid kit or temporary kit repairs, but the main use is for hanging up wet clothes to dry. Clothes pegs are always in short supply at the albergues, and safety pins do the job really well. This may seem like a lot of kit, but as I take everything out of the boxes, it packs down really small, and I only need small quantities, just enough to get me to the next pharmacia, and they can be found pretty much everywhere. In addition to the things in the first aid kit, I also pack my own prescription medication, together with a paper copy of my prescription. I've already mentioned the bum bag, which in addition to holding one of my water bottles for easy access, also contains all the valuables that I never want to let out of my sight, including my passport, my pilgrim's credential, cash, bank card, mobile phone, which doubles as a camera, my sunglasses, and my GHIG card, travel insurance, travel documents, and maybe a small snack such as nuts or a trail mix. Again, this may seem like a lot of stuff, but I believe that all the above items are essential. Well, for me anyway, and should at least be considered as everyday carry by anyone walking any of the Canadian stages, even those who are having their main packs transported. They don't weigh much and will fit into a surprisingly small space in your backpack or day pack. The remaining items will be needed or should at least be considered by everyone. Those carrying their packs will have these items in their pack. Those who are using transport companies could put these in the pack to be transported. Obviously, the clothes that you are not wearing will need to go into your pack, preferably in a watertight bag. Many albergues do not provide bedding. Most will provide a sheet of some description to cover the mattress. Some may provide a blanket, many will not. So you'll need a sleeping bag of some description, the weight of which will depend upon time of year and whether you're a naturally hot or cold person. I've walked most of my caminos in late spring or late summer, early autumn. I've never taken or needed a proper sleeping bag. You'll need some form of bag to sleep in, though. I only take a silk sleeping bag liner with me. This weighs virtually nothing and packs down to the size of a tennis ball. I'm told the silk also helps to deter bed bugs, but that's not a problem I've ever encountered on any of my pilgrimages. Albergue dormitories can be noisy places, so you may consider taking earplugs and an eye mask to help you get a good night's sleep. Personally, I find that I'm so tired at night, I don't have a problem sleeping even through the loudest of snorers. You'll also need some toiletries. It's for everyone to make their own choices, but my advice is to keep it as simple, small, and light as possible. In addition to a disposable razor, a small travel tube of toothpaste, and a toothbrush, I generally pack a small block of multi-use soap, which serves as soap for washing and shaving, shampoo, and for hand washing my dirty clothes. A popular soap that can accommodate all of these uses is Lush soap, but I don't take a full bar. Half a bar is generally more than sufficient. All of this goes into, you guessed it, a small Ziploc freezer bag. If you run out of any of these items, they can be easily replaced in shops or pharmacies along the way. There's no need to carry huge amounts or large industrial sized bottles that a family would need. To complete my toiletries, I take a very small, lightweight, quick drying sports towel. These are readily available in camping shops or on the internet. They pack very small, dry extremely quickly, and weigh very little. There is one other item that I found to be very useful. It weighs almost nothing, takes up no room, and lives in my toiletries bag. This is a large S-shaped hook. They're available in metal or plastic, either will work. The hook is used to hang in the shower stall. Not all of them are for anywhere suitable for hanging things. The hook either goes over the door, the curtain rail, or the side of the shower stall, and it's useful for hanging my toiletries bag. But its main purpose is to hold my bum bag that contains all my valuables. This, as I've said before, never leaves my sight. At night, it goes inside my sleeping bag liner. Crime isn't common on the Camino, but it's not unknown either, so better safe than sorry. Other items to consider taking include a head torch, very useful if you've set off early in the morning before the sun is up, or if you finish your walk later than you expected. Also useful in the albergue at night for trips to the bathroom, etc. But please try to get one that either has a red light or a dimmed light setting. Shining a bright light into the faces of sleeping pilgrims will not go down well. You'll need the adapters, cables, and chargers for your phone and any other electrical gadgets you take with you. For instance, many people carry cameras or e readers. I don't bother with either of these anymore, I simply use my phone instead. Although the situation is now improving, with many albergues providing power to the individual pumps, plug sockets can be in short supply in some albergues, so if possible, try to get an adapter with more than one output so that you can share with other pilgrims. You may make some friends that way. Unless you plan to eat out every day, also be aware that not all albergues provide eating utensils. I take with me a small plastic knife, fork and spoon, and a bowl or a plate, and a small cup. I've discovered folding plastic plates, bowls, and cups that fold flat for travelling and take up no space, but when folded into shape like origami, they become very effective. I also take with me a small Swiss Army knife that has a small but very sharp blade, a small pair of scissors, which can be useful for first aid, but most importantly, it has a corkscrew, which can make you have lot of ends when someone has bought wine to have with their meal and then realise they don't have anything to remove the cork. Remember that any sharp implements will not be allowed into the aircraft cabin. You might consider carrying a journal to document your pilgrimage as you go along. I've done this, but now I use an online app from my phone. There are several available, but I really like the Polar Steps app. It's free, very easy to use, saves all your photographs and notes, and with the link that you are given, friends and family can follow your journey via the web portal. My family loves it. And last but not least, carry a few spare Ziploc freezer bags. They have lots of uses and take up no space or weight in your pack. This may seem like a lot of things to carry, but with careful selection, the weight can be kept low and they don't take up much space. And yes, I really do weigh every single item on a set of sensitive kitchen scales to help me make the best choices. The total weight of everything that I carry is just under 6 kilograms usually, not including water, 7 kilograms with water. It all fits comfortably into my 33-litre pack and bum bag, with room to spare for anything I might pick up along the way. Next time I'll be discussing accommodation, or where will I sleep. I'm Gary Swift, and if you've enjoyed this episode of Bite Size Camino, please give me a review or a rating. It really does help.